Hey, happy Friday. Happy Friday. It's an exciting day today. I am super excited. Yes, because it's Friday. It's the weekend. But I'm also excited for another reason. I got mail today. Got mail today. I get mail every day, but today is a special mail delivery day because today, hi Nick. I got a special package in the mail today, and I wanted to open it and share it with you guys. All right, so let's see what's in this package. And in this package is the first batch of the Wedding Season Chronicles Wedding Etiquette Guide. I'm super excited. I finally have my physical copies. Of the Wedding Season Chronicles, my third self-published book. I am super excited about this book. It's a cute little guide. And I'm so super excited to share it, especially with my brides and anyone who's involved with the wedding. I want to thank all the couples and bridal party members that contributed to this book. Everyone who entered into the contest for this book. Hi, Rashira. Speaking of Rashira, she is featured in Wedding Season Chronicles. I'm super excited. This will be out to you tomorrow, Rashira. Here's my third self-published book. This is a book perfect for brides, perfect for grooms, perfect for anyone that's involved in the wedding, whether you are attending a wedding, whether you are a bridal party member, a groomsman, or a bride or bridesmaids. This book is for you. I think this book will get everyone started on the right path of being involved with the wedding. Because most people, if not all people, they don't really know how to plan a wedding until you have to do it. That's just not something. Thank you. That's just not something people think about every day. And even if you think about plans, I had one bride. She knew what it entailed, but when she actually started doing it, it was really real, and she, realized a whole bunch of things that she didn't realize in the first place. So this book helps to jog your mindset on thinking about those things that you might not have thought about, in planning your dream wedding. Everybody thinks about the frills of everything. But behind the frills, behind all the glitz and glamour, there's a lot of work that goes into it. There's a lot of time. There's a lot of money in most cases that goes into it. There's a lot of scheduling, budgeting, communication that goes on behind the scenes. So this book makes light of that for everybody, for the bride, for the groom, for the bridal party members, because a lot of people, they will say yes to be in the wedding and they don't know what it entails. And then they start seeing all these deadlines, all this money that they have to budget for different events. So it outlines a lot of things that the bridal party should know when they've accepted uh, when they accepted the role of being in the wedding. Yes, a lot of money. Actually, James, in Connecticut, there was a statistic a couple of years ago. The average wedding was 33,000 in Connecticut. That price, that statistic or that number, probably have jumped up by now because that was a few years ago. But moving on. And also for the wedding guests, if you're attending a wedding, a lot of times guests don't know what goes on behind the scenes. They don't know why, the bride and groom have deadlines for things. So this outlines that too. Like I said, it's for everybody. It's a very enlightening book. Um, I put a lot of my 13 years of working weddings into this book. Everything I've experienced, everything I've seen. I've also been into weddings myself. So I've seen weddings from different standpoints. I've seen weddings from being in weddings, from doing a destination wedding, to cooking for weddings, to being on the front end of weddings, to doing bartending for weddings. So I've seen weddings at a lot of different perspectives and views. And a lot of the advice and the tips and the guidelines in this book comes from that experience. And on top of that, I have past brides and grooms um, advice and tips to you because they've actually went through the process. They've planned the wedding. And I also have past bridal party members who have been in the wedding, so they experienced the wedding from that perspective, and it just adds to the value and the insight. Wedding season chronicles, and I'm super excited to have my first batch. Everyone that pre-ordered, these will be going out tomorrow morning. And I do have a little extra something I'm adding to it for you guys. Um, and I know there's people that inquire because I do have a second cover. And that batch is coming within the next week or two. Um, and with that said, you can still pre-order for the next week only. 1 week left to pre-order. The link will be in the comments to pre-order Wedding Season Chronicles. And this is part one, because there's so much to share about weddings. I'm actually gaining, more experience every year. This year will be, I don't know, my millionth wedding season coming up. Um, Wedding season for me usually starts late April, beginning of May. And with the company that I work with, this will be my seventh wedding season with them. So I'm super excited. But like I said, this is the first of many wedding season chronicles because, like I said, I work weddings every year. I also write vows for weddings, poems for weddings, plan honeymoons, destination weddings. Um, and I just have, a bunch of different services. So I get to talk to people at different stages of their planning. I get to experience the wedding day behind the scenes and up front. I get to interact with wedding guests. There's some really good wedding guest stories in here from over the years of me working weddings. So yeah, I'm super excited to have my first shipment in. It's my third book, but it never gets old. Just getting like the first copy in your hands. It's like a priceless feeling. I know all my authors can relate to this. Thank God, my wife from New Jersey. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is less money in New Jersey, James. I have to look up the exact number, but yeah, Connecticut's super expensive for everything. So weddings are included with everything else. So yeah, I just wanted to jump on really quick and share me opening my first set of copies of Wedding Season Chronicles. Super excited to share with you guys. Here's a little preview. Like I said, I had past brides and grooms offer their advice to future brides and grooms because weddings can be stressful 99.9% of the time. And so this book aims to ease that stress from the beginning. Even if you're in the middle of your planning, I think this still will help ease any stress or chaos and just kind of get your mindset in the right place and get you right emotionally. And I think the biggest thing is for this book is having everyone on the same page, so everyone knows what their roles and responsibilities are, and they can see what other parties have on their plates and their roles and responsibilities. So that brings an entire understanding for everyone, and hopefully more consideration to the other parties and what they have on their plate and what they have to change, what they have to budget, their schedules, and everything else. So I'm super excited to share this knowledge, and I am so excited to help brides, wedding guests, and bridal party members to take the edge off of wedding planning because it's super fun. So I've heard, but it does come with a lot of pressure and sometimes a lot of stress. And people don't talk about, the emotional aspects of planning a wedding. It's a long journey for most people. I know some people, they plan their weddings in a couple weeks or a couple months, but for the most part, people start this a year and a half in advance. This is a long journey. It's a long journey. A year is a super long journey. You have so many moving parts on top of that. You have your bridal party, you have your wedding guests, you have the caterers, you have you have the venue, you have the DJ, you have the florist, you have the cake person, um, and everything else. So it can be stressful, but Wedding Season Chronicles will ease that stress and get everybody on the same page. So again, those that pre-ordered, this will be shipping out tomorrow morning. Um, those that are gonna pre-order, I'm gonna have the link, and you can pre-order this cover, or I have a second cover. Like I said, that will be in within the next week or so. But pre-sale is only gonna be for the next week only. We had this pre-sale going on for a while. So next week is the last week that you can pre-order Wedding Season Chronicles at a discounted price. Um, so yeah, I'm super excited, you guys. This is the back of the book. I think this will be great for brides to, if they want to give this as a gift to their bridal party. So you all can read it at the same time. If you want to share with some of your wedding guests. This is a great book. A groom and a bride, they can read it together. So it makes sure they're on the same page about everything. And the cool thing about this is in the back of the book, there's a couple of pages, blank pages, for notes. So if you're reading this and you're thinking of stuff for your wedding, you can jot down notes in the back. And it's super small, so you can just keep it with you in your pocketbook, ladies. I didn't want to make it like super big. I wanted to make it so that you can have it with you. You can read it, you can jot down notes, put it in your pocketbook. So yeah, I will include the link to the pre-sales in the comments. And also, I am having a bridal expo and book launch for Wedding Season Chronicles, May 31st. It's free for everyone. Brides, tag a bride if you're in Connecticut, New Jersey, Rhode Island, New York, any surrounding states. I will have the link to register for free. It's going to be super great. I handpicked all the vendors that we're having because I wanted to make sure for attending brides, we have the best of the best. Weddings are a very important day. Your wedding day is very important. So I wanted to make sure that I had the best of the best bridal services at the Bridal Expo. And even if you're not a bride or a groom or in a wedding or attending a wedding, still register for free. Come out and support me. Show love. Thank you very much. I look forward to seeing everybody. It's gonna be a great time. I can't wait. I'm excited. So here it is, first batch of Wedding Season Chronicles, everybody. Thank you, James. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm super excited. So I'm gonna work on my little special extra I have for the pre-sale people to put in here. And share this post, tag a bride, tag a groom, tag somebody you know that's in a wedding. If you know somebody that's going to a wedding, tag them, share. Thank you, Jay Jr. Hello. So yeah, I think that's it. Oh, I wanted to ask you guys one thing. So I want you guys to comment on this. I get asked a lot of questions about weddings, right? So a friend asked me a question the other day. Her boyfriend is in a wedding. They've been planning this wedding for a while. The wedding is in May, and just bear with me as I'm trying to remember the situation correctly. So they were planning everything, planning the bachelor party, activities and everything. And the groom mentioned that he wanted to throw a additional party where people would buy tickets and that would go towards funding the wedding. It's fine, okay. But the groomsmen would be footing the bill for the bachelor activities and the additional party. And my friend's boyfriend just learned of this last month. Like I said, the wedding is in May. And so apparently, this is common in New England among Italian families, I was told. I've never heard of anything like this. So I want to know if you have ever heard of anything like this. Having a normal bachelor party and then having an additional party. I believe he wanted 50 people there that would pay for tickets, and the groomsmen have to foot the bill for that and the bachelor activities. I've never heard of it. And I kind of talk about this along the lines in the book. Communication, making sure that your bridal party is aware of what they're responsible for. This is a perfect story actually for the book. Actually, I'm going to put the outcome of this story in part two after I hear about what happens. Um, yeah, so communicating with your bridal party to make sure that they know, what's expected of them ahead of time. This guy is learning about, this extra cost in February. For I think April they're gonna do the party because the wedding's in May. So he's learning about this extra party that he has to put money in for um, 2 months before the party is. That's a wedding etiquette no. If you have a culturally special wedding that has extra um, aspects to it outside of your typical American wedding, that's perfectly fine. But your guests and bridal party members, they should be aware of that in case they have to budget more money, they have to schedule more time. I know a few people. I have a few African friends, and they have two weddings. They have a culturally African wedding, then they have a typical American wedding. But they made sure their bridal party, they knew about it, so they knew they had to buy outfits and schedule time off and stuff for two events. Seriously, I never heard of that. That's a lot. He don't know his groomman has lives outside the wedding. Exactly. You definitely have to be considerate. Yes, it's your day, and you want everything to be perfect, but you do have to be considerate of, your bridal party. I've heard of a party where you announce your union, and usually the guests give a financial blessings for the couple. Oh, okay, yeah, like a engagement party, right, James? Something like that. But this is like one of those stories that I've read about on the internet where couples, they ask guests to fund the wedding. So I guess they're throwing a party to help fund the wedding. Yeah, engagement party, that's really typical and I think normal in the wedding world. There's just some things that are just expected in the wedding world, the typical American wedding. Um, but yeah, the extra party on top of the bachelor where people buy tickets and that helps fund the wedding. I've never heard of that. If you know somebody, or if you're like Italian in the New England area, I want to hear your comments. Is that a normal thing? The other thing is crazy. Yeah, it's really crazy, and I'm still baffled about it. I'm actually gonna do some research so I can find any information on it because I've never heard of that. But yeah, it's an interesting story, but that definitely ties into part of what Wedding Season Chronicles is about. Communication. That's a really big thing for all parties. And I talk about that in Wedding Season Chronicles too. Okay. But yeah, if you know anybody that's Italian and they live in the New England area, I don't know. She said New England. I don't know if it's just a New England thing or if it's an Italian American thing. Um, but yeah, I'd like to know your thoughts. I've heard of endowment offering ethnic families, but nothing like that. Oh yeah, I've heard of that too. In different cultures, they give endowment they give endowment offerings. But yeah, nope, I've never heard. It's first things first for everything, I suppose. But anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. Like I said, I'll have the link to buy to purchase your pre-sale copy of Wedding Season Chronicles, and I'll also have the link to register for the Bridal Expo May 31st. Make sure you register. Tag a bride, share this post, and have a great weekend, guys. How you close this thing? Okay.